everyone, my name is Anu. Today we are going to read the next lesson of Class 5 English, Rip Van Winkle. Children, in our life, we come across many people who are kind and generous. Today we are going to read a story about a man, Rip Van Winkle, who is very kind hearted and a generous fellow. Rip Van Winkle. This lesson is adapted from the legend of Rip Van Winkle by Washington Irving. So, this Washington Irving is the writer of this book, The Legend of Rip Van Winkle, and this chapter is taken from that book only. Let's know about the writer, children. Washington Irving. Washington Irving was an American short story writer, essayist, biographer, historian, and diplomat of the early 19th century. He is best known for his short stories Rip Van Winkle and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, both of which appear in his collection The Sketchbook of Geoffrey Crayon Gent. Right, children? So, let's see the objectives that we'll learn after doing this lesson. Value of time, discouraging laziness, encouraging hard work, social behavior, to develop imagination and creativity, to increase vocabulary, to develop the skills of reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So, first of all, children, let's see the gist of this story. This story is about Rip Van Winkle, a good-natured but lazy man who goes away into the hills and falls asleep. When he awakens 20 years later, Rip finds that quite a few things have changed. Okay, now let's see. Now look at this picture and let's discuss these questions that follow. Who do you think this old man is? Children, you can see the picture. Now can you tell me who is this old man? Yes, this old man is Rip Van Winkle. What does that creeper around his leg suggest? Okay, you can see the creepers on his legs and hands. What does this suggest? Okay, okay, so these creepers means that this man may be sleeping for a long time, like he's not aware about what is going on in around him, right? Yes. What do his clothes convey? As you can see, children, he's wearing torn clothes. His clothes are torn out. So I think he may be not aware or he is inattentive about what is going on around him, right? Have you ever seen such a man? Have you ever seen such a man, children? Hmm? Maybe in the streets you may have seen like some beggars who may be in this condition, right? So it's quite possible that you may have seen this kind of man. Okay, so now let's start the story. Many years ago, at the foothills of the Catskill Mountains was a small village. So the story goes like this, children, that many years ago there was a small village at the foothills of the Catskill Mountains. Okay, that small village was where? It was at the foothills of the Catskill Mountains. That there was a Catskill Mountains were there, and at the foothills or at the lower part of the mountain there was a small village. In the village lived a simple, good-natured fellow named Rip Van Winkle. Okay, and in that village, who lives? A good-natured and simple man, Rip Van Winkle. He was a kind neighbor ready to help anyone, and everyone in the village liked him. Okay, that Rip Van Winkle was a very good neighbor, and he was very kind. He is a very helpful fellow, and everyone in the village liked him. And children, as you can see, this is the statue of Rip Van Winkle in Irvington, New York. Okay. The children of the village shouted with joy whenever they saw him because he played with them. He taught them to fly kites and shoot marbles and told them long stories. Okay, so all the children of that village, they were very happy to see the Rip Van Winkle. Why? Because he was very good. He was very kind-hearted, and he was a very nice man. He loved children, and he played with them. He taught them how to fly kites, how to shoot marbles, and he told them long stories. So all the children loved him. The only problem with Rip was that he was very lazy. He did no work on his own farm and just idled away his time. Okay, although Rip Van was a very good man, a very helpful person, but there was one problem with him. What was that? That he was very lazy. He was very lazy. He did no work on his own farm. He had a farm. Okay, he had a farm, but he did no work there, and he just wasted his time all the time. Okay, idled away means wasted. He just wasted his time every day. His fences were falling to pieces. His cow was going astray. Weeds grew on his farm, and the fence of his farm, it was the fences of his farm were falling to pieces. They were broken, and his cow was going astray. His cow was roaming here and there. Okay, and weeds grew on his farm. Weeds means unwanted plants. So unwanted plants, they grew on his farm. It means that he was not at all taking care of his farm. He was not at all serious about working in his farm. Okay, he just wasted his time because he was very lazy and he did not want to do any work. Rip's constant companion was his dog, named Wolf. To avoid work, he would walk away into the forest with his dog. And Rip has a pet dog, and he was his constant companion. He was his steady partner. Companion means his partner who is always there with him. It was his dog, and his name was Wolf. To avoid work, he would walk away into the forest with his dog. And just to escape from work, what will he do? He would have gone to the forest or the mountains with his dog to escape from work. He was very lazy, children. One day, Rip just walked on and reached the highest mountains. It was late in the afternoon when he reached there. Tired, long, tired after long climb, he lay down and began daydreaming. It was soon evening, and he realized it would be night by the time he reached his village. So here, one day what happened? Rip just walked on, and he reached the highest part of the mountain. And when he reached there, it was late in the afternoon. So he lie down and started daydreaming. Daydreaming is what, children? When you dream with your open eyes. Okay, when you think about something nice, that is daydreaming. So he started daydreaming, and it was soon evening. And when he realized it would be night by the time he reached his village, he was thinking that if I'll start now, it will be late at night to reach the village. So what he did, he was just thinking that what should he do. He should whether move towards his village or not. Suddenly, he heard a voice calling out, "Rip Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle." He looked around and saw a short old man with thick hair and a grizzled beard walking towards him with a barrel. So when he was thinking, then suddenly he heard a voice that someone was calling his name, Rip Van Winkle. Okay, when he looked around, he saw a short man, a short old man was there, and he had a thick hair and a grizzled beard. Okay, he had a gray beard, and he was walking towards Rip with a barrel in his hand. Barrel means a wooden container. Okay, so he was holding a wooden container in his hand and he was calling Rip. Then he made signs to help him carry the barrel. Rip hurried to help the stranger who caught his hand tightly. Okay, and that man, that short man, he was holding a big container, wooden container, a barrel, and maybe that container was so heavy that he was not able to hold it properly. So he made signs to help him carry the barrel. So he called Rip for the help, and as you know that Rip was a very helpful person, so he helped the stranger. Okay, he helped the strangers to hold that barrel properly. Then what happened, children? Together, they reached a place where there were some more odd looking short men playing nine pins. They were all dressed the same way, and all of them had beards of various shapes and colors. So they started walking together holding that barrel, and when they reached at a place where some more short men were there, right? There were some more short men, and they were all dressed in a same way. Okay, their dresses were same, and they were playing a game which is called nine pins. Nine pins, you know now, children, like there are nine bottles kind of thing, and you have to hit those bottles with a ball. So that is nine pins game. So all those short men, they were playing nine pins. Okay, and they had beards of various shapes and colors. Okay, all those short men have beards, long beards, and their shapes and colors were different. Even though they were playing a game, their faces were serious and there was silence. The only sound was the noise of the balls, which echoed in the mountains like thunder. Okay, children, although those old short men, they were playing a game. If when you are playing a game, you feel happy, you enjoy playing it, you smile. But those men, they were playing a game, but they were serious. Their faces were serious, and there was silence in the atmosphere. The only sound what was there, and it was the sound of the ball. Okay, which was echoing in the mountains like thunder. Okay, and that the sound of that ball was echoed in the mountains like thunder. As Rip and his companion reached them, they stopped playing and stared at Rip with a fixed gaze. Rip was really frightened. Okay, when Rip and his companion means that short man, okay, who was holding the barrel. So Rip and his companion, when they reached them, they stopped playing. All those short men, they stopped playing and they started looking at the Rip, and with a fixed gaze. Fixed gaze means they were constantly looking at the or staring at the Rip, and Rip was really frightened. He was scared. He was frightened. His companion emptied the contents of the barrel into the glasses and made Rip drink it. Rip obeyed as he was trembling with fear. Since he was thirsty, he drank a few more glasses and slowly fell into a deep sleep. Okay, his companion means that short man. Okay, that short man, he emptied the contents of the barrel into glasses. So there was some liquid in that barrel that Rip and that short man were holding. There was some liquid in that barrel, and that short man, he filled the glasses with that liquid. Okay, and he gave one glass to the Rip, and Rip took the glass. He obeyed and he took the glass and drank that liquid. And he was feeling very afraid and very scared. He was trembling with fear. He was shivering with fear. And since he was thirsty, he was feeling very thirsty, so he drank 2 3 more glasses of that liquid from that barrel. Okay, and when he drank that liquid from the barrel, he goes into a fall sleep. Okay, he fell into a deep sleep. Okay, he slept soundly. Okay, then on waking up, he found that he was at the place where he had first met the old man. When he woke up, okay, what did he found? He found that he was at the place where he first met that old man. He rubbed his eyes. It was a bright sunny morning. Okay, it was a bright morning, sunny morning. Surely I have not slept here all night, thought Rip. And Rip thought that surely that he has not slept there all night. He maybe slept for some time. Then he looked around for Wolf, but he was nowhere. Rip whistled for him, Wolf, Wolf. He then shouted. No dog was to be seen. Okay, after waking up, what did he do? He looked around for his companion, for his constant companion. Who was his constant companion? His dog, Wolf. So he looked for him. He shouted his name, Wolf, Wolf, but there was no dog. Then what happened, children? Where has this dog gone? He muttered to himself. He began to descend the mountain to go back to his village. And he was looking for his dog, but the dog was nowhere. So he thought that where he muttered to himself. Yeah, it means like he talked to himself in a slow tone, like where has this dog gone? And then he was just thinking like where has his dog gone, and he began to descend the mountain. So that means he started to coming downwards the mountain to go back to his village. As he neared the village, he met a number of people, but he didn't know any of them. The villagers also stared at him, equally surprised. Who is this man? Said one. Okay, when he came near his village, he met many people, but he didn't know any of them. And all those people, they were also surprised that who is this man? They also didn't know him. Okay, so they were talking to each other like, who is this man? Then I have never seen him before, said another. Look at his long white beard and his wrinkled face. They were his neighbors, they were the people he met, they were talking to each other like, who is this man? Someone was saying, I have never seen him before. See, he has long white beard and his wrinkled face. On hearing this, Rip stroked his chin, and to his astonishment, he found his beard had grown a foot long, and it was all white. And when he heard about his beard, he touched his chin and his beard, and to his surprise, he found that his beard had grown a foot long, and it was all white in color. He was very surprised to find his long beard. An old woman walked up to him and looked at his face for a moment. That at that time, then an old woman came, and she looked at Rip quite for a moment. Then she exclaimed, "It's Rip Van Winkle. Welcome home again, old neighbor. Where have you been these 20 long years?" And then she exclaimed that this is Rip Van Winkle. He was our neighbor. Okay, she welcomed him. She said, "Welcome home again, old neighbor. And where have you been?" She asked him that where he had been for these long 20 years. That what does that mean, children? It means that Rip Van Winkle was sleeping for the last 20 years after drinking that liquid from the barrel. Okay, so means he woke up after 20 years, and in those time he had grown old. He had got that long beard, and he got his grizzled hair, right? Gray hair. So, and now he had become old. So he slept for the last 20 years. He was sleeping. Right, children? So this was the story, children. Now let's do the new words. Okay. Now select the correct meaning of the given words. There are some meanings, children, and we have to find out the correct meaning. The first is idled away. Idled away means wasted. Second is constant. Constant means steady. Companion, it means partner. Realize means to understand. Descent means to move down. Barrel means a wooden container. Contents means the ingredients. Okay, let's see some more word meanings. Near the lower part of a mountain means foothills. With grey hair means grizzled. To rub gently means stroked. To be very surprised, it means astonished. Known to you means familiar. Okay, children. Now let's see. Say whether the following sentences are true or false. Rip was kind to children. It was true. Rip was a hard-working man. Was he a hard-working man? No, it is false. He was very lazy. The short old man on the mountain was his constant companion. No, it is false. It was his dog Wolf who was his constant companion. Rip helped the old man on the mountains because he wanted to have a drink from the barrel. No, it is false. Rip was away for 20 years because he was asleep on the mountains. False. He was not asleep on the mountains. Actually, he slept because he drank that liquid from the barrel. Okay, he was not sleeping on his own. The drink from the barrel made him fall asleep for 20 years. True, yes. Nobody recognized Rip when he came back because he had reached the wrong village. No. Let's see next. Complete the following sentences. Rip's village was situated at the foothills of the Catskill Mountains. The children of the village loved him because he played with them. The dog named Wolf was his constant companion. The villagers stared at him because no one knew him. The old woman who recognized Rip was his old neighbor. Okay, children. What kind of a man was Rip Van Winkle? He was a kind neighbor. He was very lazy. He liked to play with children. He was a good-natured fellow. Okay, next. Pick out the names of the games mentioned in the story. One is flying kites, right? Then shooting marbles and 9 pins. Okay, you can see the 9 pins on the second picture and shooting marbles in the third picture. Okay. Sometimes we join two words to make a describing word. For example, Rip was a good-natured man. So here we have joined two words to make a describing word like good and natured. So everybody liked him. Here are some more describing words. Use them to complete the given paragraph. So these words are long-sleeved, high-heeled, well-dressed, open-mouthed, sweet-looking, odd-looking, and part-time. Let's see the paragraph. Mrs. Das has a part-time job in a clothes shop. Yesterday, an old-looking woman walking into the shop. She was wearing high-heeled shoes. A sweet-looking dog was with her. I want a long-sleeved shirt for my dog, please, she said. For your dog? asked Mrs. Das, open-mouthed in surprise. Yes, replied the woman. I want him to be well dressed for my next party. Okay, let's see next. Now this is evaluation part, children. You can see there are 3 flowers, and here fill in the comparative and superlative degree. You have to fill the degrees of adjective. You have to fill, children, like beautiful, more beautiful, and most beautiful. These are the degrees of adjective, which is positive, comparative, and superlative degree. So here are some questions for you. Wonderful, more wonderful. And what would you say this, children? What will be the superlative degree of wonderful? Yes, most wonderful. Very good. Let's see next. Okay, see these pictures. Fast, dash, and fastest. What will be the comparative degree of fast? It is faster. Very good. Let's see the next. See these pictures. Okay. The superlative degree is largest. So what will be the positive and comparative degrees? Large and larger. So large, larger, largest. Okay. Next. See these beautiful sandals. Pretty, prettier, and what will be the last superlative degree of pretty? It's prettiest. Yes, very good. Now match the followings. You can see there are some pronouns, children, and you have to match them with the other pronouns. Like I, we use me for I. Okay, we use him for he. We use her for she. We use them for they. And we use your for you. Okay. All right. Now, find out the silent letters, children. There are some letters like knee, knife, knife, not, no. So these words are knee, knife, not, no. So which word is silent? Yes, K. K is silent here. Then we have neighbor, daughter, fighter, straight. What are silent words here? GH. Okay. Next is honest, honor, R, here, air. What are the silent word here? Letter here? H. Girl, world, word. Which is silent here? Children? R. Okay. So these are the silent letters. And now, so what, this was the story, children. And what have you learned from this story? What is the moral of the story? What did you understand? So we should never take things from strangers, right? Like Rip Van Winkle took that liquid from that stranger and he slept for 20 years. So we should never take food items or any other thing from the strangers. Strangers means the unknown persons, right? Then we should be helpful and kind-hearted. We should always be helpful to others and kind-hearted. And then we should not be lazy. Okay, although Rip Van was a very good, kind-hearted, generous fellow, but he was very lazy. So we should never be lazy. We should always be active. Right? So these are the morals that we learn from this story. And thank you so much, children. I hope you like this story. Enjoy learning and take care, children.